Sorry, guys, I had to cut that off because my family member came downstairs and she doesn't really know I make these videos and stuff like that. I kind of, with my family, I kind of pretend nothing's happening, even though I do talk about it sometimes because I get mad. I get a little upset sometimes because they're all involved in all this stuff. And sometimes I call them out on it because, it just comes out sometimes. They're all involved anyway. So yeah, I was talking about this guy. This guy came downstairs, didn't have his teeth in, and we were having a meeting, and he started to talk about me, and I don't know what he was gonna say, but it ticked me off. And the guy that was giving the training or the meeting, it was the anger management meeting. Big guy, and he was like telling them not, oh, stop it, stop it, stop it, don't talk about him, and and I'm sitting here, they were hitting me with rage. I'm sitting here boiling over, and this guy took out his teeth just in case I did anything, but they were trying to provoke me so much, trying to get me to fight if something like that happened, provoking me, you know, trying to get me to fight, physically and stuff. And and I was doing everything to fight it and all this stuff. And these perps don't care. They don't care. They don't care about anything. These people. A lot of the people that were, a lot of the perps that were in this program with me, they went home at nighttime. I had the whole place to myself at nighttime. They had one staff member on at nighttime, and all the perps went home at night. The place was empty at nighttime. I had the whole place to myself. You know, and then when I'd wake up, sometimes I'd wake up really early, and the perps wouldn't be there yet. They would come rolling in about 8 o'clock in the morning. It was unreal. And then, I mean, we all knew what was going on. They didn't really try to hide it. They didn't try to hide it that they were all perps and all this stuff. I knew what was going on. They knew what was going on. They didn't really try to hide it. I knew they went home at nighttime and all this stuff. It was unreal. Why they do all this stuff? Because it has to be controlled. The whole program has to be controlled. If you are talking to somebody and it's not a controlled conversation, like other people said, mind control fails. It fails. The verification triggers, or whatever you want to call it, markers, whatever you want to call these people, fails. So it had to be controlled all the time. These people were told what to do, V2K, and it has to be controlled all the time. They have to control it. That's just the way it is in my program, and a lot of other programs. It has to be controlled. Conversations, everything, what you do, activities, whatever. It has to be controlled, you know. So they were trying to get me to fight, trying to get me in trouble, trying to get me to fight, trying to get me, I don't know what their goal was. They would hit me with rage and all this stuff, and then these perps would provoke me. And I'm sitting here trying to drink my coffee and trying to be good and all this stuff, and all these people are trying to provoke me into fighting, And they did that in the psych ward too. When I was in the psych ward for 5 weeks, just before the treatment center, they tried to provoke me. They had one guy there. He didn't have any teeth either. They're all meth heads. Meth. These guys don't have any teeth. All their teeth are rotted away. So they get paid to harass somebody. That's their dream job. They don't give a shit about me. They don't care about anything. They don't care about anybody. And they try to provoke you and try to get you to fight. And all this stuff. Calling me names and all this stuff, provoking me. The whole time I was in there. in the psych ward and this place and the treatment center, and that's what they try to do, try to provoke you, so they that's the name of the game, one of the things they try to do. But it all has to be controlled. Conversations have to be controlled. Activities have to be controlled. If any, they have to control it all. It has to be that way. It has to be that way for this program to work. It has to be that way. So anyway, I thought I would do a little video and share that. That's the place I stayed at for 3 months. I was in there. That was 4 years ago. We're coming up on 4 years. And then they gave me a couple years off. When I got out of the treatment center, they barely hit me. It felt like I wasn't being hit at all. I was being remote neural monitored just a tiny bit. I couldn't hardly tell. And they were letting me get my car fixed, and they were letting me take my dog to the park, and they were letting me do all this stuff to kind of get back to normal. And they did that for a couple years. And then all of a sudden, they started to hit me last year again. They started to really hit me. Like I say, they killed one of our dogs. They tortured her so bad. And I will never forgive them for this, and I will never give up until they pay for that. And they will pay for that one of these days. Somehow, karma will come back and kick their ass, for what they did to one of our dogs. And they lit my van on fire, and they were doing all these terrible things in harassment in the neighborhood and banging in the neighborhood and all this stuff. Sleeping. I was sleeping, and they would have somebody come out and bang and provoke me at 4 o'clock in the morning, and all this stuff. They were doing all kinds of terrible things to me, So now I'm starting to get it again. After having a couple years off, they're starting to hit me again, for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason is, but they tried to light my van on fire. It burnt the carpet and everything, burnt the seat, all this stuff, It was unreal. So they're starting to hit me a little bit now, on and off, and stuff, which I hope, these guys better pray they don't get this virus, because a lot of these people are drug addicts and all this stuff, and they're probably not very healthy, and they probably wouldn't turn out good, so they better pray they don't get this virus. But you never know what's gonna happen, so anyway, but I just thought I would do a little video and share a little more of my story. I went through it, you guys. They spent millions and millions of dollars on me, and they're not done spending. Why? I have no idea. I have no idea why they're spending so much money on me. I know I've been in this program since I was a kid. I know that for a fact. I can trace it back to when I was a kid. Even when I was like in my 20s, the feet itching and the twitching, how they twitch your arm, heterodyne you, and they can move your arm and all this stuff, make it twitch, and do all this stuff. They were doing that back when I was in my 20s. When I you put the pieces together and you realize, oh my God, this has been going on for 40 years, at least. It's really unreal. So anyway, I just thought I would share a little bit more with you guys, and I guess I'll talk to you later. Hope you guys doing well out there, and I'll talk to you later.